Hey everybody, it's Angela, and I am going to alter this cigar box. It is kind of a wooden box. It's covered with paper. There's the bottom of it. You can see the wood and stuff. And I want to give this box a Halloween theme to it because I want to play with some of my Halloween supplies and stuff. And so I thought this would be a good one to alter. So I kind of measured the panels and stuff on there, and I decided I was going to use, for the paper, I was going to use this digital scrapbooking collection. It's called Dem Bones Collection Mini, and from Scrap Girls, and I'll put a link to this collection in the description below. Essentially, I wanted to use this paper, and I think this arm with the frame kind of on the top, and then along the sides I want to put these candles. Here's a bigger copy of them, but essentially this candle border around all the sides with the black background. And then I thought there's a bat here and some other stuff I'm not sure if I'm going to use, so I measured this up and pulled the digital supplies over, and I used Adobe Photoshop, and so I just made a file the size of I have 12 by 12 scrapbook paper, excuse me, and so I just made a 12 by 12 file and brought over this paper, and I kind of sized it down to fit on the top of the box. I also flipped the moon so the moon would be on the left hand side instead of on the right hand side like it's shown here. And then I made these. I'm going to cut them out like this to go along the two sides, and then I think this will do the front and the back. I'm not sure if I'm just going to do the back in black or if I'm going to put candles all the way around, or exactly what I'm going to do. So I just kind of threw a bunch of stuff on here that I could cut around in. And then for the embellishments, I printed this sheet. This is the one I want to use on the front, and I thought maybe I would fussy cut these clouds or fog out as well, and maybe put it up on pop dots or something. I did a couple of the bats, and I did 3 of them, and I just sized each one differently, so they were kind of graduating sizes. I put this is supposed to be the dripping blood. You can see it right here, but my printer ran out of magenta ink, so it came out this ugly green color. But that's okay, because I just kind of filled in some of my blank spaces because I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to use for sure, so I don't really need that. And I printed out this. I thought maybe I could put it on the interior lid. I'm not sure. I know I want to put this on the interior lid for sure, so there'd be a place for a photo on the inside as well as on the top. And then this spider too, I thought maybe I could fussy cut him and put him in here, or I don't know. I wasn't quite sure. So I just kind of filled up the paper with a bunch of the images kind of sized to fit on the box, and so that way I have something to cut around in. So I'm going to try to film parts of this as I go along, not do one whole long video, and see how that works out and do some photo editing of this. So just bear with me. I'll get started. So I've covered the box now with some acrylic paint, and I just used some folk art. I think this is called licorice. Yes, licorice. And went around it. I don't have to cover the whole thing because I'm going to put paper on it anyway, but I just kind of gave it a simple once-over coat. Not a very good one, actually. But it's going to be all covered, so only a tiny bit of it's going to show anyway. So now I've started cutting my pieces and, you know, cutting up my sheet. And I'm going to put this to cover the top panel. And when I cut it out, it leaves a little bit of a white edge here. So I've just used my black StazOn and kind of gone around each of the edges just so no white shows. when I put this on here, and I'm going to use glossy accents to glue this down, and then I'm cutting out the strips for the sides, and those will be going along here once I get it cut out. So anyhow, I'm going to keep working on this, and then I'll check back in with you. Okay, so I used this glossy accents as glue to adhere the papers onto my box. And here you can see I put the front or the top on there, and then I've used the candles around the side, and I've left the back black. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do back there, if I'm just going to leave it black or what. But now I've just started fussy cutting out some of these other elements. So I did this, and I just inked the edges with black, and I'm going to probably put this on pop dots and make it so the frame is centered, and then that way I can put a picture or something underneath it right in the center, and then I'm going to put some of the bats and maybe the fog and stuff around it. So I'm going to keep fussy cutting some things and start putting this together. Okay, so I've decided to put some glimmer mist on the top of my box, and so I've got two colors here. I've got Tattered Angels Electric Blue, and I've also got the Black Magic. And so I'm just going to put my box inside my spray booth here, and I'm going to put the color going off like that. So give this a good shake, and I'm just going to spray. This is the Black Magic, and it should be pretty subtle, but just kind of give that light shimmer. And then this is the Electric Blue. I think that's enough. And I don't have any orange spray, but I have this Tattered Angels, the Starfish, which is kind of it's actually a little more red, but that should be okay. Just get it shaken up here, and I'm just going to put little spritz on the moon. And that's it. So now I'm going to go ahead and continue on with my layering. Okay, so here's my finished cigar box, and let me just take you through what I did. On here I centered this frame so it would be in the middle of my box, and then the largest bat that I printed out I centered in this moon here, just overlapping a little bit, and I did put him up on pop dots and put a little bit of this kind of gray-black stickles on his wings, just a little bit, and then on this bat I put a little bit of orange stickles. All the flowers are from Wild Orchid Crafts, except for these here, which are from Saw Crafters. And on this little poppy flower, it was white, and I just spritzed it with the same black Tattered Angels that I had spritzed the top of the box with. In the background I used the Say It With Crystals kind of swirl bling. Here I put a little bat in the cluster of flowers, and this was a dangle charm from a pair of earrings that I had, and I just put him here and I put the other one on the inside. And then this trim here and the trim that goes all the way around the box is some mesh trim that looks like this. And I got this from Saw Crafters as well. She has a Zibbit store, so I'll put a link to her store below. And essentially I used that to go all around the box. And this skull here is kind of like my clasp, and that was a post earring that I had. And I just drilled a little hole in the lid and used some E6000 adhesive to glue the post into the lid to act as my clasp. On the candles, I used some glossy accents on each of the flames that's on here, and it really, I don't know if you can see, but it gives them dimension and shine, and I don't know if the camera is going to be able to pick up the the glimmer, but it really makes those flames pop and really adds something. And those go all the way around 3 sides of the box. On the bottom, I just put these little wooden feet, and I left it painted black. And then I also left the back just painted black. The one problem I did have was because this box had a paper hinge and not 2 metal hinges, when you would open it, it would crack the black paint, and so you would see a little bit of white showing through. So in order to disguise that, I used a little bit of gold rub and buff, and I also used gold rub and buff along the edges of my lid. So on the inside, I used the other frame, and I put stickles around the inside of the frame, and I just used more of the crystals, more of the flowers, the third bat with some stickles on there, and here's the other bat earring charm like I used on the front. And then again, I used some of the gold rub and buff along here to disguise where that hinge was cracking my paint. And then in the bottom of the box, I put this really pretty rosette trim, and that looks like this. And I also got that at Saw Crafters as well. And so that is my completed box, and I really love how it turned out. It's way more elegant than I thought it would be. The black and dark colors of it with the white bones showing really, make it look elegant. And I'm thinking that on the inside, I'm going to get a little oval mirror to glue in here. And this kind of reminds me of maybe a vampire's jewelry box or something like that. So if there's a mirror in there, she won't be able to see herself. But anyhow, then I was thinking of maybe getting a cameo to put in the top. I'm sure on someone's video on YouTube I saw a cameo that was a skeleton cameo. So if anybody knows where I can get one of those or has seen one of those, let me know, because I'd love to get a skeleton cameo to put in the top up there. So anyhow, this is my completed box, and I really had a lot of fun making it. And so I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment below. And thanks so much for watching. Bye.